Consequences of killing. Every living being on earth, human being and animal, fears pain and death. We don't need to look far to verify this. We merely have to look at ourselves. We dread at the thought of our own death and feel anxiety because we do not wish to be separated from our loved ones and material possessions. In addition, we do not know what may await us in the hereafter. Even people who do not believe in the hereafter or that death is the end still have trepidation because deep down they are unsure of what might happen should there really be one. It can be reiterated that every living being on earth fears pain and death. Therefore, the first rule of humanity, known as the first precept, Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapattang Samadhiyami, means that I intend to abstain from killing any living beings or have them killed for me. It is to never kill or harm another living being, be it an animal or a human being, including human fetuses, in any manner. This precept involves many specific details that must be clarified to ensure full understanding so that it can be kept immaculately. 1. Abstain from killing means one does not kill or have someone else do it for him or her. 2. Abstain from causing bodily harm to any living being. 3. Abstain from torturing any living being. One does not treat another being with cruelty. One will not overwork an animal, restrict its movement, allow it to starve, or use it to fight another animal for one's enjoyment. These are unwholesome deeds, and the consequences incurred will lead one to be reborn as a hell being, a beta, an asuragaya, or an animal. When born as a human being, he or she will be sickly and have a short lifespan. Transgression of the first precept occurs only when the following 5 factors are present. 1. Object, a human being or a living being. 2. Intention, purposefully wanting to cause death to the intended object. 3. Perception, the object is perceived as a living being. 4. Effort, any action carried out with the purpose of causing the object to die. 5. Result, the object dies as a result of one's action. Once these 5 factors are met, the precept has been violated. If all 5 are not present and the living being is not dead but suffers terribly from the effort, the precept is not broken but flawed. Whether the act of killing incurs severe or minor consequences depends on the 4 following conditions. 1. Level of virtues. If the person killed is an arahat, or one's parent, who is considered to possess incalculable virtues, the consequences are very grave. If it is any other person, the consequences are less grave. If it is an animal that had been used to help one earn a living, such as an ox, a water buffalo, etc., then the consequences are serious. 2. Size. If the animal killed is large, such as an elephant or a horse, the consequences are serious. However, if it is small, the consequences are lighter. 3. Effort. The consequences are equivalent to the amount of effort expended in the act of killing. 4. Intention. If one kills in a fit of rage, the consequences are serious. If the killing was without intention, the consequences are light. If one kills to avenge oneself, the consequences are serious. If one kills to protect oneself, the consequences are lighter. A person who routinely transgresses the first precept will possess a gloomy outlook moments before his death. Images of people or animals that were killed by him or her will appear. After the person dies, he or she will be reborn in the great hell, where hell denizens will torture him or her with weapons he or she used to kill other living beings, such as a bomb, a gun, or a knife. The punishment lasts an unimaginably long time. If the killing was completed as a group, a large group of hell denizens will converge upon him or her to shoot, stab, or beat him or her. A person who has routinely killed animals will be reborn a hell being with the head of those animals killed. Hell being will be seized by the hell denizens and have its head severed with a sharp sword. The pain is horrific, and the punishment lasts for countless lifetimes. A person who enjoys fishing will be reborn as a hell being swimming in hot acid. A hell denizen walking on the acid's surface, carrying a fishing rod, will cast a line with sharp hooks that pierce the hell being's mouth as if it were a fish. Hell denizens then pull and jerk the hell being's body and throws it violently against the acid surface until it disintegrates and dies. The punishment continues until his karma is exhausted. After the great hell, the hell being will be reborn in Utsata hell, where it will be pelted by a rain of different weapons like bullets, knives, and bombs. After Utsata hell, the hell being will be reborn in Yomaloka hell, where it undergoes similar tortures for countless lifetimes. After Yomaloka hell, the hell being will be reborn in the realm of Beta. As a Beta, it will have knives extruding out from inside its body and will suffer tremendous pain from the different weapons raining down on it. Afterward, it will be reborn in the animal realm as a prey with a short lifespan. After this realm, rebirth would take place in the human realm. As a human being, he or she will be physically abused, suffer many illnesses, and have a short lifespan. Killing incurs real and serious consequences. Therefore, we should abstain from killing or harming another living being and endeavor to maintain the precept. The fruits of observing the first precept will allow us to possess a perfectly formed body and radiant complexion. We will not be harmed physically or be sickly. We will have a long lifespan so that we can accumulate merit and pursue perfections for a very long time. Consequences of stealing. In today's hectic world, where energy is expended to survive the competitiveness of the everyday grind, we have to compete, scrape, and search for the things we want in our life. However, if any of the methods we use to obtain these things are dishonest, it is considered stealing. The intention to take and successful taking of other people's possession without their permission is a violation of the second of the 5 precepts. The various forms of theft. 1. Stealing. The act of taking other people's personal property without their knowledge or awareness. Stealing can be divided further into 3 types. A. Taking things when the owner is not paying attention is called larceny. B. Unlawful entering of a building or residence to take people's belongings when the residents are away is called burglary. C. Forcing open locked doors or windows to take other people's belongings is called breaking and entering. 2. Snatching. The act of abruptly taking or seizing someone's possession when they're distracted. It is also termed grab and run. 3. Mugging. The threat of violence upon a person with the intent to rob. 4. Robbing. The act of taking other people's belongings by force or with weapons that is committed by 2 or more persons. 5. Fraud. the act of submitting falsified evidence or false witness in order to cheat others out of ownership-like property. 6. Embezzle. A criminal misuse or misappropriate of property or funds entrusted by the owner to be held and or used for personal purposes. 7. Deception. The act of verbally fabricating story to mislead others in order to take their belongings. 8. Trick. The use of various ploys to fool others for personal gain, like tampering with weighing scales. 9. Counterfeit. The act of producing and using forgeries of currency or goods as real products. 10. Theft. The act of borrowing something from someone and failing to return or repay, as in the case of defaulting on a loan. 11. Misappropriation. The act of dishonestly or unfairly taking something, especially money belonging to another, for one's own use, such as taking commission out of something without permission. 12. Switching. The act of changing something that one owns of lesser value for something of greater value. 13. Smuggling. The act of evading customs duties or bringing illegal products such as alcohol. 14. Peculation. The fraudulent appropriation of confiscated items or bankruptcy by using one's position for personal gain. Besides these mentioned activities, there are other activities where a person does not actually carry out themselves, but aid in the process. Supporting or aiding a perpetrator in any way while fully aware that one was abetting with a wrongdoing will cause one's second precept to be tarnished immediately. 15. Hoax. Forging a friendship under false pretense for the purpose of taking someone's belonging and discarding the person once everything has been taken. 16. Bribery. The act of giving money or gifts that alters the behavior of the recipient in an immoral way and causing distress to others. 17. Squandering. The act of wasting or destroying other people's things such as properties or setting a house on fire. 18. Filching. The act of pilfering or taking things belonging to someone we are close to in a casual way, such as a grandchildren taking things from their parents or grandparents without permission or taking more than what was approved. Violation of the second precept occurs when the 5 following factors are present. 1. The money or things belong to someone. 2. One is aware that the things belong to someone else. 3. One has the intentions to steal these items. 4. One attempts to steal these items. 5. One succeeds in stealing these items. The violation of the second precept rests on the intention to take another person's belongings and to make them ours through dishonest means. When all 5 factors are met, one's precept is immediately broken. The degree of retribution depends on 1. Value. If the item is very valuable, the greater the consequences. If it is less in value, the consequences lighter accordingly. 2. Virtues of the owner. The more virtuous the owner is, the more significant is the consequence. 3. Effort. The greater the effort to steal the item, the greater the consequence. If the attempt required less effort, the consequence would be smaller accordingly as well. People who break the second precept of not stealing will have the dishonest activity they committed reappear in their mind before they depart this world. Their mind will become gloomy and dull, leading the persons immediately to the hell realm. Some examples are as follows. People who had stolen public money would be forced by hell denizen inside a giant money bag and then tightly sealed to prevent the hell beings from escaping. Then, hell denizen will throw the money bag violently against the ground, repeatedly tossing the giant bag until all the hell beings' body are crushed and fused to the coins inside the bag. The punishment is repeated countless times, and hell being dies this horrific death over and over again. People who cheated rightful owners of their land and property, they will be reborn as hell beings and have massive flaming sheet of land crushed down on them into nothingness. They will continue to suffer this tremendous pain endlessly. People who regularly took bribes will have their stomach cut open by hell denizens with ultra-sharp knives until it reaches their spine. Then, hell denizen will scoop and fill hell being's stomach with burning hot metal coins. The fiery metal coins will burn through the hell beings, who suffer excruciating pain until their entire body bursts into flames. Once their punishment is complete, they will be reborn as a beta with bodies that looks like a sheet of heated stone resting on two legs. This is remnant consequences from stealing property of the monastic community. Some beta are here because they stole food prepared for monks. When their retribution has lessened, they will become a beta who eats its own feces. Once their karma here is exhausted, they will be born as animal like worms, in blood and pus for over many existences. As their retribution lessens to the point where they can be born as a human, they will be extremely poor, starving, and devoid of things they need. In business, they will be cheated easily, and their possessions are subject to various catastrophes like natural disasters such as fire, storm, flood, or from theft and other losses. They will suffer numerous psychological illnesses like hysteria from past misdeeds and threatening owners out of their belongings. Therefore, now that we realize some of the consequences of stealing or breaking the second precept, we need to quit all those activities immediately, completely and permanently, and pursue a right livelihood, which means earning a living in honest ways without harming or taking advantages of others. This way we help safeguard our belongings as well as others. This will promote peace and happiness in our society in the present and future lifetimes until entering nirvana. The consequences of sexual misconduct. Transgressor of the third precept are individuals who were constantly absorbed in sense pleasure. And whether they're a man or a woman, they usually had numerous sexual partners. Even when married with a family, these men relished the nightlife, regularly frequenting nightclubs, bars, and brothels. As for the married women, they regularly slept with other men. Such misconduct causes quarrels and discord within the family, leading to distrust between the married couple. In addition, the health of the body and mind deteriorates, opening the gateway to diseases such as venereal diseases, AIDS, etc. Sometimes it can even result in murder. The wife may hire someone to kill her adulterous husband, or vice versa. This can easily evolve into a societal problem. The family experiences distress, the children don't receive the same attention and affection, and ends up imitating their adulterous parents' lifestyle and resorting to violence. The children start frequenting the nightlife and experimenting with drugs and alcohol. They may even experiment with sex prematurely. And if they became pregnant, they turn to abortion as the solution, thus gaining a chain of endless problems along the way. On their deathbed, people who regularly transgress the third precept will see a replay of their past misdeeds, causing their mind to become pitch black. This leads to a rebirth in the third site of the Great Hell, where they will be subjected to various forms of punishments by male and female hell denizens in accordance to their misdeeds. For example, a married man or woman who had affairs will be reborn as a hell being that gets thrown into a pit filled with caustic semen. The acid will dissolve the hell being's body, and it dies an excruciating death. Once reborn, it will have its genitals chopped, sliced, and cut over and over again by hell denizens with a sharp knife. Its past misdeeds will cause it to develop female sex organ. Hell denizens with a huge male sex organ made of hot iron, or a burning club with sharp barbs, or a starfruit-like object with sharp blade-like ridges, will penetrate the hell being and spray acidic semen, dissolving the hell being's body from inside out. Rebirth occurs instantaneously, and it will be pounded to death by a club that looks like a male genitalia. When it is reborn again, it will be beaten up by the hell denizens that use a sharp sword to sever and carve hell being's genital into that of a female until it dies. These are but a few examples. After the great hell, it will be reborn in Usatat hell to undergo further tortures in the sea of acidic semen. Its body will be infested with worms that look like sperms. It will be chased and bitten by fish that looks like a male genitalia. On land, it will be chased and bitten by dogs with a head that resembles male or female genitals. These are just a few examples. Some hell beings will possess sexual organ that is large and heavy as iron, forcing the hell being to move backward while dragging its heavy sexual organ with it. Then hell denizens will transform themselves into dogs with metal canines chasing and biting the hell being's sexual organ. The pain is gruesome. For the adulterous couple, the male will have a long sexual organ that the hell denizens will use to impale the female partner with. Then hell denizens will transform into hell dogs with iron canines chasing and biting the two hell beings. In some cases, the hell denizens will tie the genitals of hell beings to one end with a rope and the other to a hell dog. Then the hell dog will run quickly while dragging the hell being with it. The pain is horrendous. After Utsatat hell, the hell being will run towards Yomaloka hell, where it will then be dragged by hell wardens inside the courthouse to the front of the judge's desk. Images of the past misdeeds performed as a human being will be displayed because the bad karma is not exhausted. The judge orders it to undergo more punishment in Yomaloka. It will be forced to climb a red cotton tree with sharp hot iron thorns. There are both male and female hell beings. The pain and suffering will last a long, long time. Once the bad karma is reduced, rebirth will take place in the Beta realm. As Betas, they will have to drink pus pouring out from the genitals of other Betas. Some become female Betas with a long male organ extending out of their mouth. Some are male Betas whose sexual organ is constantly ablaze. If someone enjoys having intercourse with animals as a human being, they will be reborn as an Asuragaya that looks like the animals he had sex with. Some Asuragaya have the head of a dog, the beak and wing of a duck, legs of a chicken, and its genitals constantly infested with worms. After the Beta or Asuragaya period, rebirth will occur in the animal realm, beginning as primitive life forms such as a worm in waste sewage because it liked dirty, filthy things. Later it will be reborn as a dog due to their previous promiscuity. It will be reborn as a monkey because it liked to deceive others. It will be reborn as a donkey because he or she embarrassed his or her spouse by their misconduct. It will be reborn as an ox or a buffalo because he had affairs with other men's wives. After the animal realm, rebirth would take place as various forms in the human realm. It will be reborn as a transvestite, a man who longs to be a woman. This is a person with the severest consequence from a previous sexual misconduct committed throughout many existences, both as a man and as a woman. The consequences from the misdeeds are fruiting simultaneously. Since the number of lifetimes that the sexual misconduct was committed more as a female than that as a man, he now has a strong predisposition to be a woman. If he lives in a time when technology is not as advanced, he will just opt to dress like a woman. However, if he lives in a time when technology is cutting edge, he will undergo a sex reassignment surgery. A gay person is a man who is attracted to other men. They have transgressed the third precept throughout many existences, but the overall karma has abated and only the residual is sending forth its effects. Let's examine when the promiscuity was committed. If promiscuity was prevalent in lifetimes born as a female than those as a male, he will have the characteristic of a gay queen. If the promiscuity occurred equally or slightly more in lifetimes as a male, he will have characteristic of a gay king. If the promiscuity was greater in lifetimes as a male, she will have the attributes of a butch lesbian. If the consequence from lifetimes of promiscuity as a female is equivalent or slightly more, she will have attributes of a femme lesbian. Prostitutes are those who committed sexual misconduct during previous lifetimes as a man, and the negative karma is still intense. When the negative karma diminishes, she will be reborn a normal woman with a family, but will have an unfaithful husband, a reflection of herself when she was a promiscuous man. The bad karma from sexual misconduct combined with the karma from killing will cause a woman to develop uterine or breast cancer. Later on, they will eventually be reborn as a woman with a faithful husband. This is the consequences of the karma from sexual misconduct that has become lighter and lighter. Rebirth as a single woman occurs when the bad karma has become even lighter. Rebirth as a woman who is determined to practice chastity occurs when the bad karma is nearly exhausted. But in the meantime, if she transgresses the third precept again, she will return to the vicious cycle of the endless suffering for a long, long time. Therefore, we should hasten to accumulate only good deeds, practice chastity, and distance ourselves from the environment of sexual misconduct. We should regularly offer alms, keep the precepts, and practice meditation so that we experience true happiness, be reborn in the states of happiness, and eventually attain Nibbana. Consequences of lying. A transgression of the fourth precept. For the most part, confusion in the world has been caused by lies and deceptions. Lies and deceptions are committed by children and adults alike of every social class and every nationality. The term, "the boy who cried wolf," refers to a person who lies and deceives others. Such practice is called musawata, and it transgresses the fourth precept. Musa means false or untrue, and wata means words. Therefore, musawata means words which are untrue. Lying is committed through speech, and lies can be expressed in two ways: verbally through words, and physically by the body. One tells lies by using false words. Physically, we can lie by writing a letter or a false report that contains misleading information. It can also be done by producing false evidence, printing false information, spreading falsehood through signs. or even making a gesture such as shaking one's head when one should be nodding, etc. Lies can be told in 7 ways. 1. To tell outright lies by saying that one knows something when one actually doesn't, or seeing something when one didn't. 2. To swear that one speaks the truth when one's actually lying, as in swearing to tell the truth on a witness stand, but not following through with what one has sworn to do. 3. To make false claims by saying that one has supernatural powers or knows the winning lottery numbers. 4. To put on an act pretending to be sick or in great pain to deceive others. 5. To play on words to avoid the truth and for the people listening to conclude erroneously, such as switching location then denying seeing a thief run past because one has no desire to be a witness of the crime. 6. To exaggerate the truth by adding false information or to overclaim something, as in product advertisements. 7. To reduce the seriousness of a situation by hiding facts or omitting vital information in a report in order to deliberately mislead others. In addition, there are other ways of generating lies indirectly, such as repeating something untrue but without the intention to lie. This is called Unwholesome. There are consequences to these actions, but they do not violate the 4th precept, and they include: 1. Using harsh words aimed to hurt others or to insinuate. 2. Using sarcasm. 3. Using words which belittle or depreciate. 4. Being fickle and unpredictable in one's speech, but without the intention to deceive. 5. Using offensive words. 6. Speaking impulsively and impetuously. Another manner of indirect lying involves giving one's word earnestly and sincerely, but going back on it later. This is called patisawa, which means not keeping one's word. Such practices tarnish one's reputation and include: 1. Not fulfilling one's promise and complying with what one had agreed upon previously. 2. Saying that one will or will not do something, but later doing exactly the opposite. 3. Going back on one's promise that had been given verbally and with a written contract. There is another type of speech that may be spoken or written which is untrue or inaccurate, but once spoken, it is not considered to be a lie. These are words that one has heard and understood to be true. This is called yatta sanya and can be divided into 4 types. 1. Rhetoric refers to words that are traditionally used, such as those at the end of a letter, like respectfully yours, etc. Although these words may not be completely truthful, this is not considered to be a lie. 2. Storytelling and words used in a play, a movie, etc. are not considered to be a lie because they are works of someone's imagination. 3. An honest mistake, such as giving the wrong date that one thought was correct. These errors are not a form of lies. 4. Unintentional verbal slip. This is not considered as a lie. To determine whether we have transgressed the 4th precept, the following guidelines can be used. 1. Is the story one is about to tell untrue? 2. Does one have the intention to lie? 3. Did one lie using one's words and/or gestures? 4. Did the recipient of the false information believe the story to be true? When these 4 components are met, the 4th precept has been broken. The severity of the consequence is dependent on: 1. The level of the damage wrought. 2. The intention to cause damage to others. 3. The virtues of the recipient. If one lies to a Buddhist monk who practices righteousness, the consequence will be great. Individuals who habitually lie will see persistent images of their misdeeds just before they depart this world. Their minds will be pitch black and they will be reborn in one of the states of loss and woe, starting with the fourth sight of the great hell, to receive gruesome punishments. There will be a hell denizen with a long, sharp, blade-like tongue, holding a club with sharp spikes in one hand and an iron ball in the other. He will approach the hell being and use its razor-sharp tongue to flay the outer layer of skin and flesh of the hell being and crush it with the ball and club. The hell denizen then fills a pail with fecal acid and douses it on the hell being until it dies from the agonizing pain. This will go on for a very long time. After the sentence in the great hell is served, the hell being will end up in Uttatat hell, swimming in a sea of fecal acid. The pain is horrendous. The hell being will undergo countless deaths and rebirths here. Once the hell being has succeeded in swimming to the other side, crows with razor-sharp iron beaks will peck at the hell being's body and splatter it with their acidic feces. The pain is horrific, and the round of rebirth here lasts a very long time. After Uttatat hell, the next destination is Yomaloka hell. The Yomaloka official will seize the hell being, throw it into the tank of boiling fecal acid. Once their karma reduces, they will try to escape. When they do, hell beings will be pierced and stabbed by sharp spears. The pain is horrific. If he twisted the truth as a human being, its body will be just as twisted. The more truth he twisted, the more twisted its body will be. When it is reborn as a beta, it will have a strange appearance. It will have hands where the legs ought to be, and legs where the hands would be. Its head would be at its buttocks, and must consume its own feces as a result of the bad karma of twisting the truth. After Yomaloka hell, rebirth will take place in the animal realm, beginning with the lower life forms, such as worms that live in fecal matter, or cockroaches that feed on feces. When the karma reduces further, it will be reborn as a dog, or other higher animal forms, but will suffer skin diseases as a consequence of lying and causing distress to others through his words. When reborn as a human being, he will have awful and crooked teeth. He will be slandered and everything he says will be contorted. His life will be complicated and miserable from all the misunderstanding and misconceptions. Therefore, we should abstain from all forms of dishonest speech or verbal attacks of others, especially virtuous individuals. It is not worth the punishments in the states of loss and woe. We should practice endearing speech by using words that are kind and encouraging, easy on the ear, honest and beneficial in order to help make our world a better and harmonious place. Consequences of consuming alcohol or drugs. Alcohol consumption is prevalent in modern society. Drinking intoxicants are advocated as normal social activities necessary for promoting interpersonal relationship. Often, people use this as an excuse to get drunk without consideration of the undesirable consequences of these intoxicants that can go as far as killing oneself or others. Alcoholic beverages or intoxicants are therefore highly dangerous addictions. The Buddha described addiction to intoxicants as one of the 6 causes of ruin. It brings about the following 6 main disadvantages. 1. Loss of wealth. 2. Quarrels and strife. 3. A poor state of health, susceptible to diseases. 4. A source of disgrace. 5. Shameless and indecent behavior. 6. Impaired cognition and mental faculties. A person who consumes any types of intoxicant thus violates the 5th precept. and when they pass away, they will go directly to the fifth site of the Great Hell. In this fifth hell site, there are countless long rivers of acid water. These acidic waters derive from hell beings who used to be major producer of alcoholic beverages in the human realm. These hell beings are reborn in the shaft of an enormous mountain standing in the middle of the Great Hell. There are also smaller mountains of varying sizes. These are the places for torturing hell beings that used to be smaller alcohol producers. As a result of their bad karma, they will vomit the hot, black, corrosive liquid to cook themselves with. The strength of its corrosiveness is unimaginable, and the pain is horrific. The hot, black, corrosive liquid will spew forth from the inside of the hell beings at all times. The liquid never dries up and continues to flow at all times. The hell beings' vomit of black acid goes to boil and dissolve all hell beings that are below it. As soon as the hell beings die, they are reborn instantly, and the torture is immediately resumed. The hell beings have to serve its sentence this way until the bad karma is exhausted. Over a great length of time, the hell being will gradually decrease in size. For the major and smaller sellers or traders of alcohol, they will be reborn in hot black acid tanks. These tanks come in different sizes, depending on the negative karma of the individual hell beings. Some of the large tanks can hold about 1 million hell beings, whereas the smaller holds only one hell being. The larger the tanks, the more horrific the pain will be, and the longer the pain will last. The hell being that struggles to escape will be stabbed with spears and forced back deeper into the tank. They have to suffer horrific pain for countless deaths and rebirths. On the banks of the acid stream are the places for torturing hell beings which were former drinkers. In this place, former drinkers can be as big as a mountain. The bigger they are, the longer they live, and the more pain they endure. The hell denizens will pin down hell beings on the ground, take the hot steel ladle to scoop up acid water from the river, and force feed it into the mouth of former drinkers. The highly corrosive liquid enters the hell being's body and completely dissolves it. Once death comes, rebirth is instantaneous. It has to suffer such horrific pain and torment for countless existences. The former owners of advertising agencies, which help promote the sales of alcohol, once reborn in the fifth hell realm, it will be filled with fright and confusion, for it has no idea where it's at. Suddenly, he will be pummeled by alcohol bottles for the misdeed of promoting alcohol sales in the human realm. The bottles will hit the hell being until its body is crushed into pieces. It will be horrifically punished in this way for countless existences. For the former creative director of alcohol advertisement, when reborn as hell beings, they will experience severe headache from using his brain for the wrong purpose when he was a human being. And his head will continue to get bigger and bigger until it finally bursts into smaller pieces. Rebirth occurs instantaneously, so the hell being can continue to be tortured. Former male or female presenter of alcoholic beverages will be reborn in the same place. The hell denizens will converge upon the hell beings and proceed to flay their skin. Afterward, the hell denizens will fill alcohol bottles, which looks just like those in the human realm, with hot black acid and pour it all over the hell being, whose skin has just been flayed. The acid gradually corrodes and burns the flesh until only black stains are left. For a hell being that used to promote and spread the drinking of alcohol, at the instant of rebirth, he will feel tremendous pain in his eyes, Both of his eyes will grow bigger and bigger in the way that he used to spread the drinking of alcohol to wider and wider circles. Their eyes will continue to enlarge until they finally explode. Then the hot black acid will flow out to gradually corrode and burn its body until it dissolves completely and dies. Once the hell being have served their sentences in the great hell, they will be able to struggle free from capture of the hell denizens. The hell beings will continue to run away from the great hell, and once they have arrived in Utsatat hell, they will be met by the hell denizens of Utsatat hell. The hell beings will be seized, dragged, and thrown into a great river one by one. The liquid in the river is again the black acid, which is highly corrosive. The hell being will experience horrific pain in the acid river for countless deaths and rebirths for an unimaginably long time. It can be seen that in the fifth sight of the great hell, there exist various forms of torture, each designed to punish hell beings whom, in their former human lives, were associated with intoxicants, whether at the stage of production, distribution, promotion, or consumption. The use of alcohol and drugs is very destructive, both to the body and to the mind. In order to preserve our physical and mental state in the best shape, we are best to adhere to the fifth precept and abstain from taking any intoxicants. The dangers of cigarette smoking. Present-day society views smoking cigarettes as trendy, or being a man thing, when in fact cigarette smoking is a form of cold-blooded suicide and a murder of those around us. Cigarettes are harmful and addictive. They slowly kill the smoker as well as those around him. As harmful as tobacco is, smoking is a widely recognized practice, and its consumption has been promoted by both private and public sectors that manufacture and distribute cigarettes. Some people are confused whether cigarettes are really good or bad for us. We do know that research carried out by the World Health Organization has shown conclusively that life expectancy for smokers is shorter than non-smokers. Experts have also confirmed that cigarette smoking is detrimental to the health of the smokers and those who are near. Cigarettes contain harmful carcinogens, and when smoked, it greatly reduces the health of the smokers and causes various types of cancer, lung diseases, etc. Smokers also age quicker, and their smoking habit is repugnant to others. Most importantly, the mind of a smoker will be gloomy at the moment of death, and this will cause him or her to be reborn in the hell site of Maharoruwa Hell, the fifth site of the Great Hell, which is the rebirth destination for consumers of addictive substances. Hell beings in the fifth site have a lifespan of 8,000 hell years, where one day and night is equivalent to 2,304 million Earth years. Therefore, 8,000 hell years is equivalent to 6,727,680 billion Earth years. Hell beings in this site will receive different forms of punishment. For example, they may be reborn as a group in a huge pit which looks like an ashtray. A huge hell denizen will light up and smoke a giant cigarette. He will then flick the cigarette ash into the huge pit where the hell beings are held. Afterward, he puts out the cigarette by crushing it against the hell beings in the pit, causing them to die a horrific death. The hell denizens also spews forth toxic cigarette smoke over the hell beings. The toxic fumes cause the bodies of the hell beings to be corroded to the point of total disintegration. These hell beings must undergo countless rebirths in this manner. Another group of hell beings may be reborn in a pit, which is larger than the previous one and where it is terribly hot all the time. Hell denizens with a huge body will converge upon the pit. Each hell denizen will pick up a hell being with one hand and hold it in his fist. With the other hand, he picks up a cigarette paper made of hot iron, places the hell being onto the hot iron sheet, covers it with tobacco, and rolls it up into a cigarette, the hell being thus becoming a part of the cigarette. The hell denizen lights up the stuffed cigarette and smokes it with relish. He then spews forth the cigarette smoke directly on the hell beings in the pit, and the toxic fumes corrode the hell being's body to the point of total disintegration. These hell beings must undergo countless rebirths in this manner. In another example, once reborn in the fifth sight, the hell being may try to run away, only to run into a wall of cigarettes in every direction it runs. It is finally surrounded by a wall of cigarettes, which spews forth toxic fumes. The hell being is also bombarded by a rain of cigarettes, which pierces and crushes its body until it dies a horrific death. These hell beings must undergo countless rebirths in this manner. These are but a few examples of the myriad forms of punishment in the fifth sight of the Great Hell. The period of punishment in the fifth sight of the Great Hell is longer than the sights, which are the places of punishment for those who transgress the first to the fourth precepts. The reason is that the human body is very precious and is meant for doing wholesome deeds, accumulating merit and perfections. When we destroy our body by consuming addictive substances, we are essentially cutting short our opportunity to accumulate merit and pursue perfections. Therefore, smokers, beware. Give it up before it's too late. Whoever hasn't started smoking, it's better never to try it. We should take care of our body, for it is the vehicle of merit-making and the pursuit of perfections. The consequences of gambling. Buddha pointed out that there are 6 causes of ruin, roads to destruction that lead to the loss of wealth. The causes of ruin includes drinking, frequenting the nightlife, persistent viewing of entertainment shows and games, gambling, keeping company of fools, and being lazy. Anyone addicted to gambling will only meet with misfortunes and not prosperity in life. There's a saying that goes, being robbed 10 times is not as bad as having a house burnt down once. Having a house burned down 10 times is not as bad as being addicted to gambling. When a house is burglarized or burnt to the ground, one is still left with the land. But gambling addicts will not have anything left. They may not even be able to keep their own life safe. Gambling is a game played with and for money or other forms of betting. It involves taking risks. Gambling was considered a legal activity in Thailand at the beginning of the Ratanakosin period. But during the reign of King Rama VI, all gambling sites across Thailand were shut down because it had negative effects on society. Some people became so immersed in it that they did not bother to earn a living. It resulted in many people losing everything they had. Gambling triggers violence and the breakdown of the family. It erodes one's sense of morality, leading people to behave immorally and to have disregard for what is good and what is bad. It is the culprit behind many criminal activities. It cripples the institution of family and undermines the strength of a society. Ultimately, gambling shatters peace and happiness of the country. Gambling addiction causes the addict to become manipulative and insincere. Therefore, Thailand must rid itself of all the causes of ruin. There also should not be legalized gambling and listing of alcohol manufacturers in the stock market. The money gained through these means cannot compensate for the destruction wreaked on our citizens and society. The losses are incalculable. The Buddha explained the immediate dangers of gambling in 6 following ways. 1. The winner incurs retribution. Once a gambler decides to play, he never thinks of losing but only on winning, and at any cost. This winner's mentality causes the loser to scheme for revenge. 2. The loser feels the loss painfully. 3. Wealth disappears in an instant. 4. An addict's word is not credible because it carries no weight. 5. An addict's reputation is tarnished, and he or she is looked down upon by others. 6. An addict is not marriage material because an addict cannot support his or her family. The Buddha indicated that when a gambling addict leaves this world, he will be reborn in the 6th site of the Great Hell, a place of punishments for those who transgress from the 5 precepts. An alcoholic still has moments of sobriety, but a gambling addict never does. He is constantly fixated on how other people should lose. The mind of an addict is gloomy because it is obscured by the defilement known as ignorance. He can no longer discern between merit and demerit, what should and should not be done, and the causes of gloominess and brightness. When a gambling addict is about to depart this world, he will see his destination based on his past actions. His mind will turn pitch black, and he will be immediately reborn in the 6th site of the Great Hell. Once there, hailstorm of playing cards appearing as sharp hot iron sheets will rain down on the hell being, cutting its body into shreds. The punishment lasts a very long time. Hell denizens will force those who gamble with dice into a big fiery iron die with sharp protruding spikes inside. Hell denizens then throw the dice so that they roll back and forth, piercing the hell beings with the sharp hot spikes. This occurs over and over. After the sentencing here is served, the hell being will be reborn in the 6th site of Utsatat Hell, carrying sharp iron playing cards. The hell being will try to run away, but ends up being cut to pieces by the razor-sharp cards. The pain is horrific. Alternately, Hellbeing will be bombarded by hot iron coins or notes until its body turns into pulp. The Hellbeing dies and is reborn countless times. The body of some Hellbeings will have dice grown inside it. The dice will expand bigger and bigger until its body bursts into pieces. The pain is tremendous. After Utsatat Hell, the Hell beings will run towards Yomaloka Hell, only to be met and caught by an official waiting to take them inside Yomaloka Hell. The Hell beings are then taken to the judge of this hell. Since the images of the Hell beings' past misdeeds can still be seen, The judge orders the hell beings to receive more punishment in Yomagoloka hell. After Yomaloka hell, the hell being will be reborn as a Beta or Asurakaya possessing a bizarre body infested with crawling worms and bombarded and killed by sharp gambling devices. When it is eventually reborn as a human being, he will be reborn into poverty and will be cheated regularly. He will be reborn amongst fools and far away from intelligent people. He will be met with misfortune and return to the same lifestyle as a gambling addict. Therefore, we should be a true friend to all the people who are involved with gambling, and inform them of the harm that will befall them in the present and future. Their action will cause many people to be reborn in the states of loss and woe. We must not allow something illegal to become legal for the sake of our country's peace, stability, and happiness. Let's purge the causes of ruin and purify our country.
ลากตัวมันไป